How can you
No, I'm not.
continue to support the Akaka Bill and then talk to the Hawaiians and say, we feel for you, yeah, we got to protect our sacred sites because they're encroaching on it?
Well, I agree with you, and I think there's a little bit more than a disconnect. And I keep having to come back to Hawaiians understanding that is a state agency. Their job is, as a state agency, in the interest of the state, their job is to limit Hawaiian sovereignty struggle. That is, it might not be written in there, but it's got to be the subtext or the mandate of what they're doing, because Hawaiian sovereignty struggle runs counter to this issue of militarizing Hawaii. And by the way, Kukani Loco isn't just in the middle of the island, it's in the middle of the expansion.
Right.
So it's now inundated. Right. It's going to be surrounded by the striker brigade.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, it's actually shrinking as we speak because everything is moving in. But it's really a perpetuation of what's been going on for 112 years.
Right, and I don't know if these two gentlemen who were there pleading with OHA for help, I don't know if they even realized that OHA supported the Akaka Bill, and the Akaka Bill is supporting what's happening to Kukani Loco, and I don't know if they really understand that, but I hope that they're watching tonight and they see that they're really, they're talking to the fox.
Yeah.
About protecting the hen house.
Well, as part of our presentation yesterday, again, what we asked them, he says, this bill provides no meaningful way to protect against overuse, overexpansion, overdestruction of the military, by the military. It says there's no mechanism in there, no true mechanism for us to say enough is enough.
In fact, it's worse than there's no mechanism. It's actually, there's a mechanism for the military, but there's not really a mechanism for us.
That's
and what
correct.
It seems to me from the new language, I thought the language was for before, okay, but now, like I said, it's frightening. It's like a bad, scary movie. But now it seems to me that the language is actually being created, it's been written in such a way as to position the military in a nice place.
Well, I said, you know, what you may not realize, and I just wanted to point that out to the board, is that you may unwittingly be creating federal criminals of our people in order to save our highness.
Okay, now, explain to me, that was an excellent statement that you made yesterday. So tell me why that is.
Because there is no mechanism. Our people will have only one way, as I see it, and I just wanted to raise it, in order to stop further destruction. And that means they'd have to do what they did on Koho'olawe, occupy the land, which is a violation, would be a violation, a created violation of federal law. And that's the only way they may have some impact, have any say in the ongoing destruction. There's no way to do it, like I said, there's no
without breaking federal law.
Without breaking federal law.
Right.
You know, since we're talking about Koho'olawe, I want to touch on that because I've been involved with Koho'olawe. I worked on Koho'olawe for 7 years for the Koho'olawe Island Reserve Commission.
Tell us a little bit about what you did on
I worked in the restoration program, and we were charged with environmental restoration, reestablishing native plants, communities, erosion control, alien species control, and basically trying to save the biology of the island. And we've planted over 100,000 plants on Koho'olawe in the past 7 years. I'm no longer involved with the Koho'olawe Island Reserve Commission. I have since resigned. But I want to say that one of the major factors that was beneficial to the Protect Koho'olawe Ohana and to Koho'olawe being back in our hands today is Emmett Aluli's 1979 lawsuit against the United States Navy. He sued the Navy, went to Supreme Court, and won. Under the current Akaka Bill, that will not happen again.
So we won't have the right to do that.
We won't have the right to do that.
Right.
Emmett took on the United States Navy and won.
Right.
Well,
it sounds to me like you're saying we're going to have less rights now. With
no rights.
No rights. We're going to have no rights
right,
to sue.
Right.
So even what Emmett did in 1979, we won't even be able to do that.
Absolutely
for
not.
anything.
That's right.
So we'll be set up to do some sort of negotiation for what?
Well, technically speaking, when the language of the bill doesn't even allow us to negotiate that. You can make the argument. The negotiation, they said again, it doesn't apply to any of these sections to the Department of Defense.
That's right.
So we may be completely removed.
Right. If I understand correctly, it's geared more towards the Hawaiian homes land claims. We're talking about the military. It seems like they're pretty immune to everything. Mm-hmm. They're very safe. They're dug in, and we can't touch them under this current Akaka Bill.
What's wrong with this picture is that we've been asking OHA since day one of Huipu, educate your people about this, and they haven't done so.
Yeah, OHA is not telling this story, that's for sure.
Right. I mean, I think this is actually, these are some of the most important issues in the bill, and they're not touching it.
That's right.
They're not talking about it at all. So, well, let's talk a little bit about this issue of land claims. Okay. What do you think that could actually mean? I mean, we know we're talking about what it means with regard to militarization, but what do you think it might mean to the average your regular Hawaiian out there?
Well, this is how I would approach that. I mean, and we've seen it on many occasions. OHA trustees, people who've spoken on these forums that they presented, have all said at one time or another how important this claim, this 20-year claim period was to the bill, how vitally important it was.
In fact, some of them even said it was too short.
Yeah, that's correct. Some of them said it was too short. That has been removed.
Now what is it?
There is no claims period.
Zero.
Zero claims period.
Well, it went from 20 years, which we felt was too short, and we thought would get reduced to 5 or perhaps 2 years, went all the way down to 0.
And what we're left with is pure negotiation.
Okay, but when we
and we know what negotiation with the U.S. means, right?
Well, in the case of us, with regard to the Akaka Bill, it's not even really going to be a negotiation. Isn't it going to be the 9-member committee that's going to talk to whoever's the Secretary of Interior? Isn't that the negotiation?
Well, when we finally allow, once the organic documents, if this thing continues to its completion, the organic documents are completed, we will have a Native Hawaiian entity. And that Native Hawaiian entity will be charged with those responsibilities of negotiating.
But even that Native Hawaiian entity, like OHA, will not be made up just of Native Hawaiians.
Right.
That's more language, actually. That's another piece of some of the language I got put into the bill, is to make sure that it's not just a Hawaiian entity.
It's a distinct possibility.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they want.
I think it's very clear. It says that, I think 10 years of experience in the community, of ability to read and understand Hawaiian, write Hawaiian. You don't have to be Hawaiian. You just have to be able to act Hawaiian to be on the commission. Again, it's going to be a case of non-Kanakas up in D.C. representing us. That's what's happening now, and that's what will continue to happen with the Akaka Bill.
Okay, well, I have to get to a couple of... Some callers were kind enough to call in, and I just kept talking, and I sort of ignored it. So there are a number of questions here, and I'm going to try to put them in some kind of order. Oh, here's a good one. Why is the Akaka Bill bad for homesteaders?
Let me just answer it one way, is that, and you may know, since the recent Arakaki decision by the Ninth Circuit Court, the Department of Hawaiian Homes Land is now immune from those lawsuits. Those lawsuits have been dismissed.
Because, just give us a little bit about what that, we're talking about the Ninth Circuit.
Ninth Circuit decision, okay. Recent decision, and basically they said because of the federal relationship with the United States and Hawaii, they talked about the Statehood Act, that act, and this basically compromised agreement where Hawaiian homes was now protected under federal law. And then Arakakis and the Arakaki plaintiffs, of course, had no right to sue.
Right.
Because of the U.S.'s sovereignty immunity.
It's always been protected under federal law.
So the Akaka Bill is not bad for Hawaiian homesteaders. It's bad for all Hawaiians. It's much bigger than just the homesteads. Okay. They're fine, but it's bad for the entire race of Kanakas. That's what it's bad for, which is even more reason to be concerned.
Right.
If you're a member of if you're an owner, a Department of Hawaiian Homes land owner, you no longer need the Akaka Bill.
So that whole excuse, so that the reasoning behind it, because the CNHA has been saying for years now that they're going to lose their homestead if this bill doesn't go through.
F-E-A-R, fear. When you can put fear into somebody, you can really have a powerful tool to control and convince them to get them to do what you want them to do. What we've been trying to say from day one is the Akaka Bill is predicated on fear, and we should never allow ourselves to be driven into to be cornered by fear. We have to turn around and fight.
Now, just to be fair, I mean, it is a decision that could still be appealed and taken to a higher level. So, as a current decision, Hawaiian homes are protected. Now, it's a matter of whether the Ninth Circuit agrees to review it